Hi, my name is Peter Love, and this is the tutorial on how to replace Kinder Scientific's StartleMonitor control chassis board located here in this metal chassis. Make sure that you need a StartleMonitor. You will need a 3/16 hex drive to remove some of the jack screws, a Phillips head screwdriver, a small Allen wrench, and your replacement board, and a place to keep your screws together so you do not lose anything. So the first step will be to remove the board, or the metal top, from the metal chassis. You do that by unscrewing these. You will also next want to remove the top screws up here, and the bottom screw down here. And you will take that 3/16 hex screwdriver to remove the jack screws here that are used to keep the DB25 cable connected to the frame. So after you remove all the screws and the jack screws, you should have 10 screws removed and 4 jack screws. Make sure not to lose those. You will then pull back slightly and remove. You will see that the fan is attached to the board up here in the top left. Just go ahead and unplug it there. You can see it just plugs in right there. Just go ahead and unplug it there. Set this off to the side. You will then see these two plugs. One of these is what controls the speaker, this purple and gray, and the other one is what controls the light. So purple and gray on the left, red and brown on the right. You'll just go ahead and unplug these carefully so you don't damage anything. Go ahead and just leave those hanging, and then you will see in the corners here there are these spots perfectly aligned to remove the two screws here. That'll allow you to remove the board, as well as the one up here, the ones in the corners as well. So you go ahead and remove those 4 screws. While removing the screws on the board, remember to unplug this B and C cable. You will do that by just rotating it until you hear the click. It will spin off, and then you can just slowly pull it down, and then it is removed from the board. The other part you will need to remove, other than the screws and the B and C cable, are the vernier dials. Unfortunately, we only had one in stock, but it's still able to show you how to remove it. So you just need the small Allen wrench, and located at the bottom is a small little hole that it can fit into that has a little set screw in it. So just go ahead, get that inserted. You just loosen that, lefty loosey, and you're able to just pull it right off of the potentiometer there. Once all the screws are removed, the BNC cable is disconnected, and the vernier dials are removed, you may go ahead and just slowly wiggle the board off. It is pretty tight with the potentiometers, so you'll want to make sure that you do them relatively straight. And you can just go and just pull that off. Set that to the side, and then you'll want to go ahead and grab your new board, keeping these here so that way they can connect back onto your ports, and slowly reinsert or insert your new board like such, so that way your vernier dials and your house light switch are sticking through. Once you have this back in place where it should be, go ahead and take your screws, and you will begin screwing them back into the 4 corners that you removed them from. Once your board is back on, we're going to reconnect the speaker and the light. If you remember, the light went on the far right, and the speaker was on the far left of the pins. You will then take your B and C cable, and you can see there are these little grooves for the notch to slide right in. So you just go ahead and wiggle that up, and then rotate it, and you will hear a clicking sound to indicate that it is locked and it is secure. Next, we will be placing the vernier dial back on. So you will go ahead and ensure that your 2 dials are all turned all the way to the left, and that your vernier dial is at the setting 00, you will then go ahead and, similar to how you took it off, this small set screw is what you will use to tighten it. So once it's on, you just go ahead and, using your small Allen wrench, reach down under and tighten it, just like so. You are now ready to place your cover back on. You will need to reattach the fan. So you can see there's a small little notch there that it just slides in, and it should click right in there. Ensure all these cables are not in the way, and you will, when you place this, you will take it slightly off and slide it on, so that, as you can see, these need to these ports here need to line up. There we go. So now these are poking out, so you can actually plug into them, and then your 10 screws will be going, and you will go and screw those back in. After you've placed your 10 screws back in and screwed those in, you will be putting your jack screws back in, 2 for each DB25 port, using that 3/16 hex bit. Congratulations, you have now replaced the board located inside the StartleMonitor chassis. You've learned how to remove the vernier dials, remove the screws and jack screws, and how to take the board off, what to disconnect, and how to reconnect it and put everything back on. And that is the tutorial for that.